Welcome back to how to play World of Warcraft using the SKU mod for those whom are blind. In our last video, we went over some inventory management as well as some action bars and some combat and some navigation stuff for manual filtering of NPCs or objects in the world. And so now I've gone ahead and done a little bit more progress on my Warlock, and we're going to go ahead and start to look at some of the vendor-related items in the game. This would include your trainer, and so I've already navigated to my class trainer, and I'm going to go ahead and get her selected. I've got a couple of quests one to turn in, one to pick up, but it's also going to allow me to receive my training. And as part of that, the training is where you get yourself some new abilities, and then you can adjust them on your hotbars or action bars, as I had shown in my previous video, so that you can have the spells placed where you want, so that you can cast them when in combat or performing other actions. So we're going to go ahead and talk to the trainer here.
Dialogue plus. The arcane only corrupts those who are weak. I am interested in Warlock training. Plus.
So she's got a few options here. I'm only interested in Warlock training.
Available quest, the Stolen Tome, plus.
We've got an available quest, the Stolen Tome,
Accepted quest, Tainted Letter, plus.
and a quest that I've accepted and need to turn in. I'm going to go ahead and turn this in.
Left click. Accepted. Text. So you've arrived, and not a moment too soon, evil virus. Some of the guards were over here a moment ago and were giving me curious looks. Period. Pathetic mundanes. Text. Deliberate, plus. Text. As you grow in power, you will be tempted. You must always remember to control yourself. I will not lie, corruption can come to any practitioner of the arcane, especially one who deals with creatures from the twisting nether. Be patient, and be prudent, period, but do not let that repress your ambition. As you grow more powerful, return to me and I will teach you more about our ways. Complete, plus. Complete, plus. Dialogue, plus.
Alright, so that's completed.
I am interested in Warlock training. Available quest, the Stolen Tome, plus. Available quest, the Stolen... Left
And
click.
we're going to pick up this
Available
quest.
Quest, plus. Text, you there. Evil virus, right. I hope you're sure about becoming a warlock, because if you can't hold your own, you're likely to get pulled under. I'm to teach you, but I need to make sure you're strong enough first. There was a novice studying at the Abbey who ran off to join the Defiance Brotherhood. Why do I care? Well, he stole some important books. One of those happens to be a book I've wanted for myself, The Powers of the Void. Steal it from me, they have it hidden at their tent in the vineyards. Drusilla Lossoff.
Alright, so she gives me a quest to retrieve a stolen item.
Dialogue, plus. I am interested in Warlock training.
And
plus.
now we're going to go ahead and get our training. So once I've opened up the training menu and I'm talking to her as a vendor, we're going to have some options. Right now we're in the training option, and it's got a plus, so I can go ahead and navigate to the right.
Text, hello, Warlock. Ready for some training?
And so there's her introduction. Hey, ready, Warlock, ready for some training. So now we're going to hit the down arrow.
Affliction, category.
And we can tell that, okay, we've got a category. So that means that there is going to be other spells or things within this category that we can choose from. This particular category is Affliction. So you have 3 different talent specializations per character class. For example, with the Warlock, you have Affliction, Demonology, and Destruction. And so you will have spells that will be from each of those different schools of magic or skill for your character. So let's go ahead and see what she has available for me under Affliction.
Corruption, selected, plus.
So we have the Corruption ability. And then I can expand it out to left click on it so that I can select it and make it highlightable for training. What I'm going to do though is I'm going to look and see, okay, what does corruption do? So I'm going to hold shift and hit the down arrow.
Corruption, selected, plus. Curse of weakness, new, plus.
And it does nothing.
Corruption, selected, plus.
So you can't do the selection from here, right? So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to scroll down.
Curse of, light tap, disrupt, immolate, new, shadow bold, text, select, train, plus. Text, selected, corruption, period,
All right,
period.
So here we have a thing called the text selected, and then it says what we have as our selected item. This is about 6 rows down on the list, but it changes depending on how much of the interface is taken up with objects to review. So now that I have it on the selected text tab, I can hold my shift key and then press the down arrow.
1 silver, links, silver.
So it's going to cost me 1 silver to purchase this.
Requires level 4, links, level.
Needs level 4.
Corruption, links, corruption. 35 mana.
Costs 35 mana.
30 YD range, links.
30 yard range.
2 SEC cast, links, cast.
2 seconds to cast it.
Corrupts the target, causing 40 shadow damage over 12 seconds. Links. Shadow damage. Target.
So it's going to put a damage over time or dot effect onto my target enemy, doing 40 damage over 12 seconds, which means that every 1 second it's going to tick, and it's going to do a dividend of that 40 divided by 12. So it'll be somewhere in the realm of 4 point. Actually, it'll be about 3.8 damage per second, roughly.
Corrupts the target, causing 40 shadow.
So that's what that spell does. So now I can go back up
Weakness. New. Plus.
and see what else we have.
Selected. Plus.
There's a Curse of Weakness.
Plus. Destruction. Category.
Under Destruction, we have Immolate.
Text. Shadow
and we have an increased level of Shadow Bolt.
Text. Train. Plus.
And that's it. So now, if I scroll all the way down to the end here, we can either close the window or I can go up one and we can train. So it's going to train the selected ability, which right now is Corruption. So I hit the right arrow, gives me my option to left click,
Close.
Bang, trained. Now I have the new spell. It will immediately apply that spell to my action bar, but I'm going to move those because I want to have those spells in locations where I want them, not where the game is telling me they have to be.
Close. Plus. Train. Plus. Text. Selected. Curse of Weakness. Period. Period. Period.
So the next spell it has selected is the Curse of Weakness. So let's go ahead and review what this does.
1 silver. Links. Silk. Requires. Level 4. Curse of Weakness. 20 mana. 30 YD range. Links. Instant cast. Links. Instant cast. Instant cast. Links. Instant. Instant cast. Links. 30 YD range. Links. 20 mana.
So it's not really telling me what it does, but from my experience, Curse of Weakness just reduces the enemy's ability to attack you. I have played a Warlock before. It's just been a really long time. So it's a spell that would be used as a debuff to afflict the enemy in a way that makes it easier for you to either take damage from them by reducing their strength or making them take more damage when you attack them. So we'll go ahead and get that trained.
Left click. Close. Plus.
Let's see what else we got.
Text. Selected. Light tap. Period. Period. Period.
Alright, so next on the list we have a Demonology spell. This is called Life Tap.
1 silver. Links. Silk. Requires. Level 6. Links. Light tap. Links. Light tap. Instant. Links. Instant. Instant. Links. Instant.
Alright, so it's not telling me what it does. My mod may be bugged out, and I'll show you a way that you can fix that later on. But what Life Tap does is it allows me to take life away from my summon, if I have one, and then give their life to myself, allowing me to heal off of my summon's energy.
Train. Plus. Left click. Close. Plus. Train. Plus. Text. Selected. Immolate. Period. Period. Period.
Alright, so when we have Immolate.
Copper. Links. Immolate. Link. 25 mana. 30 YD range. Links. 2 SEC cast. Links. Cast.
2-second cast.
2 SEC cast. Links. Cast.
And this is going to do burning damage. It's going to afflict the enemy with fire, causing them to burn from within over time. It's not telling me the exact stats on this, and this again could be because my mod's acting funny, and so we'll have to reset my mod, or at least my interface, to get that working like it's supposed to.
Left click. Close. Plus. Train. Plus. Text. Selected. Shadow Bolt.
Period. And my last ability is a higher level of Shadow Bolt, which we definitely want.
Close.
Okay. So once we're done, it automatically will take you to the close option, and we can left click on that to close the window for the vendor. You can also hit escape to close vendor windows, and that will allow you to get rid of that menu and give you back control of the game world and interface. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go and activate my action bars, and as I mentioned before, that would be Shift F11, and then I'm going to select action bar 1, and we're going to do Shadow Bolt,
assign no action, affliction,
and we're going to scroll down the list to Destruction,
rank 1, Shadow Bolt, rank 2,
and we're going to grab Shadow Bolt, rank 2, and we're going to put it on button 1.
Button 1, Shadow Bolt, rank 2, key 1, plus.
Then what we're going to do is, because we have these curses,
button 2, empty, key 2, plus.
Button 2, what do I want to put on that? I think
assign no action, general, plus.
I'm going to put
Destruction, plus.
Immolate on button 2.
Button 2, Immolate, rank 1, key 2, plus.
And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put corruption on button 3.
Button 3, demon skin, rank 1, key 3 plus. Assign no action.
So
General,
we'll go down
affliction plus.
to
Corruption,
affliction,
rank 1. Curse of weakness, rank 1. Corruption, rank
and
1.
we'll put corruption
Button 3,
there.
corruption, rank 1, key 3 plus.
Now I'm going to scroll this down the
Button 12,
list,
demon skin, rank. Button 11, refreshing spring water, key
and
SS
because
plus.
I want to
Assign no
have
action.
it in a way where I can access these
General
buttons
plus.
quickly,
Affliction plus.
we'll go to
Corruption,
my
rank 1.
affliction,
Curse of weakness,
and
rank
I'm
1.
going to put Curse
Button
of
11,
Weakness
rank 1, key SS
on
plus.
the minus sign. So this allows me to cast those additional spells. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and work on getting my summon by completing that quest that she had given me so that I have access to a pet for this character class. But before I do that, which I can do that in a later time, not on camera, I'm going to go ahead and show how to work with the vendors while on your mod interface in a more productive manner. This will include your character pane, vendor interfacing, and bag management. So let's go ahead and navigate to a vendor.
1 meter east, Drusilla Loss off. ARMOR plus.
We're going to do a Shift F9 and we're going to search for armor.
79 meter west, Godric Rothgar, armor and shield. Select.
And we'll go to
Elwyn Forest 40 plus. 79 meter west, Godric Rothgar.
Godric Rothgar.
Plus.
And we're going to navigate to him.
Menu close. Dane Winslow, skill 7.
So we're going to go ahead and start traveling.
Northshire Valley. Skill 6.
And make our way over to the vendor.
Skill 5. Skill 4. Millie Osworth. Skill 3.
That's a quest giver, Millie Osworth. So we just keep traveling down the road here. Or wherever. We're running alongside the Abbey, I believe. It's from my memory of being able to see in the past. Should be coming up to the vendor here pretty soon. There he is.
Skill 1. Near. Arrive at destination.
Alright, let's talk to him. So, when I talk to a vendor, we have a couple of different options.
Bags plus.
We have our bags,
Merchant plus.
and we have the merchant. So now if I'm on merchant and I hit the right arrow,
Text, Godric Rothgar.
Gives me the name of the merchant, and then I can hit
Text,
the down arrow,
items.
and I have the option to repair my items. But with the mod that we have, it actually auto repairs all of your gear that you're wearing, as well as selling any equipment that is of gray or poor quality.
Close plus.
And we have the close
Tarnished
option,
plus.
and then we could see
Tarnished
what
chain
he
leggings,
has
Tarnished
for
chain
sale
belt, Tarnished
as we
chain
scroll
boots,
down the
Tarnished chain
list.
bracers, Tarnished chain gloves, small shield, large round shield, repair an item,
Now, in the event
Tarnished blue,
that you accidentally sell something
0 gold, 0 silver, 84 copper.
that
Buyback plus.
you didn't want to sell, you do have a buyback menu where you can go to buyback, hit the right arrow,
Merchant plus.
and then you can get a list of all of the items that you had previously sold,
Merchant plus. Darnasian blue plus.
and you can buy them
Flimsy chain
back.
bands, plus. Flimsy chain belt plus. Broken fan plus.
Now, I don't have anything here that I need to buy back, so I'm not going to worry about this at this time. But that's a quick tutorial on how to navigate a vendor. This is the same way with every vendor in the game.
Godric Rothgar.
Now,
Bags
going back
plus.
to my bag,
Bag 1 plus.
go back to bag 1.
1 militia dagger. Common plus.
I have a militia dagger. This is a new item that I had picked up. This is something that was given to me from completing a quest. And so what I want to do is I want to see what it does. So I'm going to hold shift and hit the down arrow. It's an item, level 5.
Soulbound. Links.
It's soulbound,
One hand.
and it's a one-handed item.
Dagger. Links. Dagger.
Weapon class is dagger.
2, 4 damage. Links.
2 to 4 damage.
1.50. Links. Speed.
It's pretty quick.
2.0 damage per second. Links. Damage per second.
2 damage per second.
Durability 20/20. Links.
Low durability is only what it is. Now, if I continue to go down past the durability, it's going to tell me what my currently equipped item is. So my currently equipped item
Worn dagger. Common.
is a
Links.
worn dagger.
Item level 2. Links. Item.
It's only an item level of 2,
One hand. Dagger. Links. Deck. 1. 2 damage. Links.
and only does 1 to 2 damage. So the item that I have is going to be twice as good as the item I am wearing. So I'm going to let go of shift. Takes me back to my dagger. I'm going to hit the right arrow, and it gives me the left click. If I hit down arrow, it gives me right click. To equip a piece of gear out of your bag, it always has to be right clicked. So you go ahead and highlight the right click, hit enter,
1 bullet.
and it equips that weapon to your inventory.
2 soft fur, line shoe, 3 heartstone.
Now I also have these shoes here.
Plus. Item level, 5, links, soulbound, links, feet, link, cloth, links, cloth, 7 armor, links,
7 armor.
Durability 20, currently with item, acolyte shoes, item level, 1, feet, links, feet, vendor price, 7, no recent price data available.
Compared to shoes that have no stats at all. That's a no-brainer.
Two,
You change them out.
shoes, common, plus, 3 heartstone, common, 4 empty, plus.
Okay, so now that's kind of an idea on how to go through the bag. Now, as I had mentioned, you have equipment in the game. The ability that you have to review your equipment is through the character pane. So to access your character pane with no interface menus open, you press the letter C.
Chart plus.
This opens up your, as the screen reader calls it, char, but it's actually care or character pane. And so if I hit the right arrow,
text, level 6 human warlock.
Tells you that I'm a level 6 human warlock.
Text, level 6 human warlock. Text, level 6 human warlock. Equipment plus.
And if I hit the down arrow, I can either look at my equipment,
stats plus,
my stats,
plus, equipment plus.
And if there were other things in here, like in Season of Discovery, you've got your runes, or you might have glyphs. You'd be able to access that from here within those variants of the games. So right now I only have equipment and stats.
Equipment plus.
So when I hit the right arrow on equipment,
plus.
It lets me see my items.
Plus. Head plus.
Right again. And so it goes through each different piece of gear based on your slot. So I have a headgear slot,
neck plus.
a neck, shoulders,
frayed robe, port,
chest,
frayed robe, port, plus.
Back,
acolyte shirt, common, plus.
A undershirt,
tabard plus.
Tabard if you have a guild tabard or a faction tabard.
Wrist plus.
Wrists,
frayed belt,
gloves,
plus.
Belt,
acolyte
pants,
software, line shoes, common,
boots,
plus.
2 ring slots,
trinket plus.
2 trinket slots,
militia dagger, common,
a weapon
plus.
slot,
offhand, plus.
an offhand item slot for a shield or an orb,
ranged plus.
And then a ranged slot, which in this character's case would be for a wand. There is one character class, well actually 2 character classes, there are 3 character classes that do not get a ranged weapon. Those character classes on the Alliance side are Paladin and Druid. Paladins get a Librum, and I'm not sure off the top of my head what Druids get, because honestly I've never played one before, even though I've been playing this game for 20 years. On the Horde side, the Shaman do not get a ranged weapon. But priests, mages, and warlocks can use wands. Hunters, warriors, and rogues can use bows, guns, or throwing knives, or axes. That's just kind of a quick rundown of the character tree. Now, if you're enchanting a character piece of gear, or you're trying to add a armor reinforcement kit or some sort of a buff to your gear, that's usually done by right-clicking the item that you want to imbue to your equipment in your inventory, and then coming into your character pane, and then finding that piece of gear, and then left-clicking on it. When you're enchanting it, depending on whether or not you are getting the enchanting done from a third party or if you are doing it yourself, would depend on how those enchants would work. In the case of enchanting it yourself, you would need your professions pane, select the enchantment that you want based on the piece of gear you want to enchant, click the enchant button using the menu system, and then going into the character pane, and then applying it to that piece of gear by selecting the item equipment piece, and then left-clicking on it to allow the cast of the enchantment. We'll show that later on. I do have another character that I can demonstrate that with that has enchanting, so that we can provide you with a better idea of how that looks in action.
Menu closed.
So this has been an overview of your trainer, your inventory, selling items, equipping items, and then going through your character pane. The one last thing that I want to show you, and this is actually a very important and piece of information you're going to use on a regular basis when using the SKU mod, is your character information window. And so when you have no items or menus on screen, if you hold Control and Shift and you hit your down arrow,
General.
it's going to take you to a general information pane. If you let go of Control, you can down arrow through each individual menu. This list is huge, and it's got a lot of information in it that is very useful to you as a player. So for example,
Health, 100%, 128, links.
I have a maximum of 128 life.
Mana, 100%, 265.
I have 265 mana, which is the pool that you have of resource for casting spells.
PvP disabled, links, PvP.
I am not in a PvP state. If PvP is enabled, that means that players from the opposing faction can attack you.
Item status, 11 OK, links, item.
Item status is very important. As you play the game, your equipment will take damage. If you start to come across this item status where it says that you have items that are yellow, it'll give you a number, right? It might say 6 yellow, 5 OK. Or it might say 2 red, 4 yellow, and 5 OK. So if gear is listed as yellow, those numbers indicate that they're yellow. That means that your equipment is damaged and is on the verge of breaking. If the equipment turns red, that means that it has become broken. Broken equipment are not usable by your character until they are repaired by a vendor. That means that if that piece of equipment has any stats or attributes on it, those attributes do not get applied to your character until that piece of gear has been repaired. If all of your gear becomes red, then your character will run around virtually naked, and things can kill you in 1 or 2 hits because you have no armor or magic resistances. So it's very important to make sure that your gear is repaired.
Money, 84 copper, links, copper.
Money, this is your currency. It's calculated in gold, silver, and copper. All currency in the game is obtained through questing, looting, selling items, or working with the auction house. We'll have a video on the auction house later. That will be its own entire video. That is a monster.
Empty bag slots, 12, links.
Empty bag slots. This tells you how many slots you have available in your inventory for picking up items off of your looted bodies and or treasure chests or resource nodes, whether it be mining, herbalism, skinning, throughout the world.
Time, 0:7.
Gives you the time, 7 minutes after midnight here in Chicago.
Mail, none.
I have no mail. There is an in-game mail system where you can send letters back and forth to people. When you receive money from an item that sells in the auction house, it will appear in your mailbox. If you buy anything off the auction house, it will be sent to your mailbox. People can send you letters, and you can even get quests through the mail from NPCs as you progress through the game.
Hearthstone, Ready Northshire Valley, links, Northshire
Your
Valley.
Hearthstone is an item that you get to use within the game that will allow you to teleport to a safe place. It's a 4-second cast, and it can be interrupted if you get attacked. Hearthstone can only be used once every hour in Classic WoW. This is the same all the way up through Wrath of the Lich King. Once you get into Cataclysm, the time on the Hearthstone is reduced to 15 minutes, and you can have multiple Hearthstones in later renditions of the game.
XP, 17%, 647 of 3,600 for 7.
XP, that's my experience
ACLs, 1
points.
per quest. Anyone want to run?
Experience points are your points that are gained that
ACLs,
allow
1
you to level your character. As you progress through the game, you will require more and more experience points to get to each level, and it will take more and more time. In Classic WoW, your level cap is 60. Even if you're really good at the game and you do a lot of dungeons and you just push real hard through, it could take almost 100 hours of gameplay to get to level 60. So for those who are new to playing video games, who are blind, be patient. The game is a long one, but it's more meant about the experience and the adventure than it is just trying to rush through it to the end. At least that's how I feel about the game. I do like to dungeon run and I do like to do the end game rating, but sometimes just the overall experience of playing the game can be just as equally satisfying.
Rest bonus. 6. Links. Rest.
Rest bonus is something that you acquire by being in an inn or a major city. By not playing the game, you accumulate bonuses of rest. You can have enough rest bonus to get you through an entire level. When you have a rest bonus, your rest bonus is calculated into your experience so that when you eliminate a mob or an enemy, you get double XP until your rest bonus is depleted to 0%.
Buffs. Links. Buffs.
Then you have your buffs. These are bonuses that are put upon you to make your character stronger, whether they're self-given or given to you by other players. Now, if I hold Control and Shift and hit down arrow, it'll jump to the next category.
Debuffs.
Debuffs are negative status effects that harm you.
Skills.
Skills are abilities that your character has that are dependent on your level and what your character's known abilities are. This could include your professions, your weapon skills, and your class-specific magic skills. They tap out at 300 when you're a max level, but you can do things to get it to go beyond 300. But generally, your cap is 300. Keep in mind that with weapons, you have to learn them from a trainer. So if I wanted to learn swords, I'd have to go to the trainer, learn the ability to carry a sword, and then I have to go out into the world and use that weapon to gain my skill by practicing the use of that weapon so that my character becomes proficient with it and you're able to actually hit your enemy with a regularity.
Reputation.
Reputation becomes important later on in the game because you have to earn reputation to be allowed to obtain certain items or buffs or recipes for your professions that are going to be required to get you through the later parts of the game. This could include being able to get your raiding gear or tier gear, which is the most prolific and powerful items in the game. But again, those aren't things you're going to really worry about until level 60, and as you turn in and complete quests, your reputation goes up for the various factions in the world on its own anyways. You'll get into farming reputation later, once you become more familiar with the world and its environment, and which factions you would want to gain higher reputation in so that you can get the best gear possible.
Guild.
Guild is a clan, or a group of people that you get to join an organized group with so that you have people to communicate with and or possibly quest with and do dungeons and raids with in the future.
Cooldowns.
Cooldowns are spells that may or may not be on cooldown. Usually this isn't going to pop up for anything that has a cooldown unless it is longer than 1 minute. Some cooldowns can be up to 2 hours.
Cooldowns.
When an item or a spell is in cooldown, you cannot use it until the cooldown is depleted. And that's kind of a run-through of this very important character information window. Now, once I let go of Shift and Control, it'll take me back to my game world. And that's where we're going to go ahead and conclude this video for the night. The next time that we record, we're going to do a little bit more navigation stuff, in particular, learning about passages and learning about flight masters. With that being said, please click the like button and subscribe, and if you aren't already doing so, please also follow me on Twitch, as I will be streaming some of my game adventures there. Thank you much and have yourselves a good night.